Okay, so you're going to read tabs the same way that you would read sheet music. Your lowest pitch notes, in this case it would be the C string, is actually upside down. So your lowest pitch notes are at the bottom of the lines and your highest pitch notes are at the top. Does that make sense? So you still hold your ukulele the same way, but when you look at it on paper, it's upside down. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to label, oh my goodness, that's guitar, A, E, C, and G. Okay, so we're going to label our strings with our A string at the top of the page. You see that?
What? I don't have a full screen here. I just now realized that.
Oh.
Shoot. Okay, here we go. So A, E, C, G.
Correct. So you see how the A is at the top of the page because that's your highest pitch note.
Okay.
And then your G, technically the G's at the bottom because that's where your lowest pitch string would be, but that's how you're going to read it because that's just where the G falls. But normally that G would be the lowest pitch string. Does that make sense? So Chase, when I'm doing that high and low voice, I'm talking about the how high my voice sounds or how low my voice sounds, and that's called pitch. Anyway, so when we read this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write numbers here next to each string, and that's going to be the fret number that you're going to play. So fret 1 is going to be this first fret right here. Fret 2 is the second fret, a 3 is the third fret, 4 is the fourth fret, 5 is the fifth fret. That makes sense, right? We're just counting down, we're counting up from this white piece towards the body. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm going to do also is I'm going to write a chord above those numbers. So that chord, when you see that chord, it's like, okay, that's going to tell you put your fingers into the G position. So we have the G chord written above. So put your fingers into the G position.
Okay. And then what's the 2, 3, 2?
That's the fret numbers that he's going to put his fingers on. Now, for Free Fallin', the frets change, but the chord shape doesn't. But this is going to tell him which frets to play within the G chord. So what's happening here is you're strumming on a chord, but you're also playing different notes at the same time to create a melody and play a chord at the same time. So a melody would be like this. Mary Had a Little Lamb. Well, we can play that with the G chord. Can you hear Mary Had a Little Lamb in there?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm keeping my fingers on the G position, but I'm moving my middle finger on and off to be able to move those other notes. And then we have 3 again. Sorry, I know this is a little confusing and kind of a lot to digest, but so with the tabs, the only thing that's really going to change is at the very end here, we have a new chord, which is our D chord. So what's happening is, for the video, I'm going to hold it over to my phone. So what's happening here is we have 2, 3, 2, and then we have 2, 3. So our foundation here on the C string, we're always going to keep one finger on the 2nd fret of the C string. And until this very last chord here, the D, you're going to keep your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. It's your middle finger on the 2nd fret and then pinky on the high A string there that's going to change. So Chase, if you look at that,